Okay, hello everyone. Looks like most have joined, and we will not delay this any further. My name is Edgar. I am with the AEE Solar team, and I'm very excited to introduce you to our presenter today. We are joined by Director of Sales at Generac, Jeff McAndrew. In today's webinar, Jeff will teach us about the PWRcell Solar and Battery System and the benefits of Generac's leading technology. As a reminder, we will have a Q&A session following the presentation. I encourage you to submit your questions via the question section on the control panel. Once the webinar has concluded, we will do our best to answer as many questions as possible. All right, let's dive in. Without further ado, I'll pass it over to you, Jeff, and we can begin.
Awesome, thank you, Edgar. Hey all, as Edgar had mentioned, my name is Jeff McAndrew. I'm the Director of Sales for Generac Clean Energy. Before we get started, a big thank you to our friends at AEE for hosting us. I expect that many of you are already working with them. They've been a great partner to us, and our customers do love working with them. As Director of Sales here at Generac, I have the pleasure of growing sales with our group of market development managers all around the country. I'll flash a map of that group later today in this presentation so that you can have an idea of who your outside sales rep is in case you don't already know. So today I'm going to talk about Generac as a company very briefly. I'm mostly going to focus on the PWRcell Solar and Storage technology, its various advantages, the applications we serve, and at the end, like Edgar mentioned, we'll have time for a Q&A. For those of you who don't know, Generac is a US-based company. We're headquartered out of Waukesha, Wisconsin. We've been around for over 60 years, which is pretty unheard of in this industry. It means we've actually been around longer than the warranties that we put on our products, which is pretty rare in this industry. Over the last 6 years, we've grown to be over 10,000 employees globally. We're on a mission to be a leader in transforming how we all generate, use, and distribute energy. And we've got millions of customers, actually around 3 million of them that have a home standby generator at their home, which is pretty wild considering there's roughly 3 million resi rooftop solar installations throughout North America. So we as one organization have as many home standby backup generators at customers' homes as the entire solar industry does rooftop PV installs here in North America. In terms of our sustainable energy solutions, we're laser focused on building products that can help homeowners produce and store their own energy so that they can use it when they want to or need to. With that, we're also helping homeowners reduce the amounts of energy that they consume in the first place, which may come in the form of a load control device like our Power Manager or an ecobee thermostat. We acquired ecobee I think about 18 months ago or so. We're very much working to help build out the Grid 2.0, where behind the meter assets like batteries, EV chargers, thermostats, hot water heater switches can all be used to help stabilize the utility grid. A few years back, we acquired a company called Embala, and their platform allows us to manage and control these behind the meter devices to help assist utilities who are trying to get away from building peaker plants and help them transition into virtual power plants. All right, let's jump into the PWRcell platform. We're going to start with the applications that the platform serves, and then we'll jump into the technology itself and its advantages. First and foremost, the PWRcell platform can be used as a standard grid-tied solar inverter with our optimizers to save homeowners money the same way the existing 2 to 3 million existing PV systems in the US have been installed. We don't require a battery with our system. In fact, a lot of contractors like selling PWRcell as a PV-only platform so that they can easily upsell batteries in the future when a grid outage hits their region or when a virtual power plant program comes online. Backup power is for sure the universal value proposition for batteries. Even when you have rate arbitrage, virtual power plants, etc., homeowners generally want a battery for backup power. The rate arbitrage may help pay for that battery, and same for virtual power plants. But to be clear, the homeowner is almost always buying the battery for backup, and savings are a bonus. This is going to shift a little bit in California, as we'll discuss today with NEM 3, but historically, batteries have been bought for backup power. This is why the majority of our homeowners, at least, are buying PWRcell. That being said, we are seeing a shift from utilities to time of use rates, which PWRcell is really well suited for. Customers who are in TOU markets benefit from the fact that we're DC coupled, which we'll mention a few times today. That allows us to charge and discharge our batteries more efficiently than just about any of our competitors, which just means all things being equal, we should save our customers more money in these markets because we're operating more efficiently. Beyond time of use, and sort of the next step for utilities is to limit net metering by disincentivizing it overall, like we're seeing with NEM 3 in California, or to not allow it at all like we see in places like Hawaii. And here again, because we're predominantly DC coupled, we excel because we operate very efficiently when it comes to cycling our batteries on a daily basis. This is also a key application for the don't tread on me homeowners. We've all had them who just don't want to give their utility any help by net metering, even if it is available. Believe it or not, we do have a lot of customers who have net metering and say, I want to generate, store, and use all of my own energy and only export once I've accomplished that. What you're seeing here on the right is a screenshot of one of our self-supply customers who's literally not buying any power from the utility over a 24-hour period. We have thousands of customers that operate this way. This is a screenshot of Power Fleet for this homeowner. Power Fleet is our fleet management tool. So basically, with NEM 3, and I should say markets like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Tennessee, I mean, shoot, we're even starting to see time of use come to the Carolinas. Homeowners are going to want to eliminate buying from the utility or selling solar back unless all of their household consumption is met. The way this works is the battery powers the house through the evening. It covers the early morning rush where the sun is still limited. Maybe you're making coffee, you're starting to make breakfast, but the sun isn't really up yet. And then as the sun starts to come up, the solar powers the house and starts to recharge the battery. By the middle of the day, the battery's totally charged. We're covering all the loads in the house, and now we can discharge back to the grid. And the evening time comes, the battery kicks in, starts to power the house, and covers us until the sun comes back up. And again, we've got a great system for this application. We'll talk about why just a little bit later. Another application we fit for is this niche market where homeowners get hit with demand charges. Since we can tell our batteries to kick in if and only if the house starts to consume a certain amount of power, we can help keep homeowners in a lower rate class in certain markets. Mostly we've seen this in Arizona. The last but not least, I mentioned in our Enbala acquisition, all of our inverters are VPP ready, virtual power plant ready, and we have a super aggressive grid services team going after projects to try to bring more of these opportunities to the market. And as these come online, we look to partner with high quality contractors to deliver installs in a target region. And generally the utility will help us provide an incentive to the homeowner for opting into a virtual power plant program. We have programs where this incentive is $1,000, $1,000 a year, $10,000 for 5 years. So it can be pretty impactful. We've worked these in the Northeast, Arizona, California, Hawaii, and we're working on programs around the Midwest and the Southeast as well. If you are joining us from the Northeast, we have a select few partners in our guaranteed incentive program. If you'd be interested in joining that, please let us know. But really the two core applications for backup power, for batteries are backup power and self-supply. And we've got various advantages within those two applications that we'll discuss momentarily. Before that, let's dive into the product ecosystem. On a high level, the PWRcell platform is a fully integrated solar and storage platform comprised of optimizers, inverters, batteries, and a load management device called the Power Manager. The inverter is the hub of the system. Every system that we sell requires an inverter. Ours is a 7.6 kilowatt hybrid inverter, meaning that you'll directly connect solar and storage to a single inverter. You don't have a separate inverter for the storage. It's a hybrid inverter. It's one inverter that does it all. One of the great things about that is that we're DC coupled, and so you could oversize our inverter quite a bit. And instead of clipping once we're producing 7.6 kilowatts or 32 amps, we'll just route that excess PV production into the battery to charge it, like we saw in the middle of the day in the screenshot previously. And the inverter allows for partial or whole home backup power depending on what you'd like to accomplish. It also allows for the use of storage without providing backup like we're seeing in California and in some cases Hawaii. Lastly, this unit has a number of operating modes to accomplish the wide variety of needs that we just discussed previously in the application section, but we are really well suited to reliably back up the house or save your homeowners money with time of use schedules or self-supply. On the roof, we're optimizing multiple panels at a time with our PV Link optimizer. We're accomplishing rapid shutdown with our SnapRS device. This SnapRS device is the RS802. We had a few challenges with the previous version, the RS801, but we have since fielded hundreds of thousands of these RS802s, and they've performed phenomenally. We did extensive testing to make sure that they would. And for any contractors that did have challenges with the 801s, we were paying around $1,000 to $1,200 on average to roll trucks and replace those units. And today we continue to proactively replace those units with the 802s. And in my opinion, this is a great example of why Generac is a tremendous partner in this industry. We stand by our product, we stand with our contractors, and we absolutely do the right thing. The battery is really the star of the show here. The NEMA 3R battery cabinet holds between 9 and 18 kilowatt hours, which is between 3 and 6 of our 3 kilowatt hour battery modules. The modularity is great for contractors because for those of you who've installed other batteries, in our case, they're not moving 200, 300, 400 pound batteries around with a whole crew. In our case, usually you have a helper who's putting in the battery while the electrician is installing the inverter or the transfer switch, and you got 2 guys on the roof. Again, this unit's DC coupled, so the optimized solar power is going straight into the battery as DC, charging it, leaving the battery as DC, and only being inverted one time. This is really important for homeowners who want or need to cycle their batteries daily to save money on their electric bills. I'll additionally note that the battery is super powerful on a per kilowatt hour basis compared to our competition. We can push 9 kilowatts from 18 kilowatt hours of storage and a 50 amp peak for starting certain motor loads like a 3-ton. The battery size is not dictated by the size of the solar array. So you could put 18 kilowatt hours of storage with a 5 kilowatt PV array if that's what the homeowner needs. Or you could put a 9 kilowatt hour battery with a 10 kilowatt PV array. You size the battery based on the customer's needs, not based on the size of the PV array, which is a big difference from us, between us and some of our AC coupled competitors. You can start with 9 kilowatt hours and grow the system as needed. We see this in time of use or other self-supply markets where the customer bought what they needed for self-supply, and then they had a grid outage or two. They realized that they want more battery storage so that they'll last longer in a grid outage. This is great for your business because you're able to market to homeowners after a grid outage and say, hey, we can still add more battery modules to your cabinet, or we can add another cabinet to your system to get you through the storm longer. Additionally, for you, our contractors, it's a plug and play install. You're running just 3 number 10s from the battery cabinet to the inverter. It pops up, the battery pops up within seconds of enabling the inverter. And that's true for all of our devices, the PV Link optimizers, the batteries, they all just pop up right on the inverter screen once you've enabled the inverter. And it's a matter of seconds to commission each of those devices. I mean, the commissioning process on the whole system is like 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what you're trying to do. It's very fast, and that's because this platform is pretty mature. I mean, we're at almost year 6 of this platform. We've had various iterations, and we've made a ton of improvements over the, over half a decade that we've been developing the technology. Of course, we've got an ATS transfer switch for whole house disconnects, so you're not wiring protected loads to a sub panel if you don't need to. We've got a 100 amp and a 200 amp service rated and non-service rated transfer switch that you can use depending on your application. We manufacture tons and tons of these transfer switches annually. I think what you'll see is that we're super, super cost effective here, like half the price of some of our competitors for their backup interfaces, etc. My favorite device, and in my opinion, our largest differentiator is the Power Manager, which will automatically manage up to 6 240 volt loads in the home, or allow the homeowner to manage them by him or herself. We'll take a look at this here in a second. So to be clear, the big advantage the Power Manager provides to us is that when the biggest loads in the house start to consume too much power, this device will automatically manage those loads or turn them off temporarily and then turn them back on when there is enough power available. With our competitor systems, if the well and the water heater turn on at the same time, you could run into a blackout unless you've stacked a bunch of expensive batteries on top of each other. And so the homeowner's either spending, tons of money to be able to back up, frankly, like 2 pretty reasonable loads, or you can run into a blackout scenario. This is huge from a customer experience perspective because it lets you be more cost competitive by selling fewer batteries and just managing those larger loads automatically. We'll talk about this again in a moment. While we have the ability to integrate an AC generator with the system today, we're also launching a DC generator called the PowerGen that will recharge the batteries when they're low in an outage. We're going to launch this towards the end of the year. All right, a few final points on differentiation, and then we will look at next steps. So again, there are 2 main applications here for batteries, backup power and self-supply. From a backup power perspective, our batteries are more powerful than our competitors on a per kilowatt hour basis in many instances. Many of our contractors will sell one of our 18 kilowatt hour battery stacks instead of 2 Encharge 10s or 2 Tesla Powerwalls or 2 Energy Hub inverters, each with a SolarEdge battery and a backup interface. We're going to be more cost competitive than those solutions with one 18 kilowatt hour battery. And when it's paired with a Power Manager, in most cases, we're going to be able to back up the same amount of the house. But because you're selling less storage, you're able to actually save those homeowners more money. This is a huge differentiator for us. And the Power Manager is really easy to use as well. You just open the app, look at the loads. You'll see what each load that's connected to it is consuming, which is great. Click on the circuit that you want to manage or lock it out so that it shuts off, and then you carry on with your day. I had a situation over Christmas where the grid went down, but we were 400 miles away with my parents, and I was relying on my battery for heat in my house. It was like, on the border of freezing. So I went into PowerView, which is the mobile app that the homeowners will use. I clicked into my Power Manager. I turned off almost all of my other attached circuits so that my system would basically be able to back up my house and keep it heated for as long as possible. Lastly, in terms of backup power, we always back up the house from the sun first. We've done this for years, like since the platform was launched. AC coupled competitors often have to toggle on and off the solar inverter in a grid outage so that the solar produced doesn't exceed what's being consumed in the house or by the battery. So you can run into a daytime scenario with AC coupled systems where the solar array is turning on and off and on and off. And that could lead to a battery that isn't full going into the nighttime. So in our case, not only are we charging and discharging our more powerful batteries more efficiently, we're also keeping the solar array on throughout the course of the day. From a self-supply perspective, we're using 2,500 watt optimizers, and they're rarely way oversized. So our contractors find that our system is clipping less than some of our competitors, right? You'll often have, if you got 24 400 watt panels with our system, you've got like just under 10,000 watts of solar panels on 10,000 watts of optimizers. If you're working with Enphase or another microinverter system, we get a lot of contractors that are putting 400 watt panels on 8,000 watts worth of microinverters. And in certain situations, the micros are clipping in that case. Instead, we're able to use all of that solar, and then instead of clipping at 7.6 kW, the inverter's rated output, we'll put that excess production right into the battery. You combine that with our ability to discharge our batteries more efficiently than our competition because we're DC coupled, and the result is a system that should generate a better return on investment for many customers in a market like California under NEM 3. All right, let's take a look at next steps in terms of partnership. The first step is for me to connect you to your market development manager. So please reply to the follow-up emails that you'll receive from AEE as well as Generac. We'll reach out proactively. Just reply to us. We'll connect you with the right person in your market. This map will be made available to you in the follow-up. This shows our market development managers throughout the country. I'll also leave this up for just a few more seconds in case you're looking to take a note of who your outside sales rep is. Okay. From there, we're going to want to schedule a sales training. Then we'll want to review pricing, bill of materials that you would have received from AEE. Once you get a few systems sold, we definitely want to make sure that your technical team is prepared to install. So we'll have them go through our certification training. And then we'll like to review one lines. And ideally, we are supporting the first installation for every one of our new contractors. This is not something that we charge for. This is something that we want to do proactively. We've built out a great outside support team that's regional based. So we have regional application engineers, and we would love for them to be part of your first installation, just so that they can essentially meet with certified installers from your team on site and answer any questions that they may have as they work through that first installation. And like I said, the commissioning of the platform is super simple. We can do this in 3 to 5 minutes. From an install perspective, we have contractors doing single-day installs with 5-man crews. So we know that we have an efficient platform. These field application engineers are also out there to help your team become more efficient in that install. We've got a ton of resources for our installers, which will be made available to you in the follow-up email as well. Definitely make sure that you look into our Generac Clean Energy page on YouTube as well, which has install and homeowner-facing videos. So then once you've completed that first install, you're going to be able to access a $1,000 buy and try reward. Essentially, Generac's going to write you a $1,000 check for giving PWRcell a try. We're confident that you're going to like it, so we have no problem doing this, knowing that if you've done one, you're likely going to want to install another one in the future. There's no caveats here. You just fill out the buy and try form, and once your system's registered, we ship you a check for $1,000. From there, as you get going and you grow with Generac from 1 to 10 to 50 to hundreds to thousands of installs, you'll be enrolled into our tiered dealer program, which will reward your growth with training, marketing dollars, leads, priority access to technical support, and will provide escalated warranty reimbursements. That's something else I want to be super clear about, is for all of our power partners, everyone is getting labor warranty reimbursement. Something our contractors love about working with Generac is they're not losing their shirt every time, anytime that they have to go to a site to do a repair. So on top of our buy and try, I want to make you aware of our buy 5 get 1 promo, which will literally save a few $1,000s on a system. For contractors that are in California, we're running this in conjunction with a super deep special pricing agreement through our distributors to help you grow with PWRcell as you transition into this NEM3 world. This will literally save you a few $1,000s on your average system, which I expect will make us quite attractive versus our competition in that market. All right, that is what I have for today. Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to me again. My name is Jeff McAndrew. I'm happy to take any questions at this time.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. We'll give it a few minutes just to see if anybody, yeah, for sure. We'll see if anybody wants to include any questions right now. It was a great presentation. I doubt there's any lingering questions out there, but we'll give it a minute. We received a thank you and a rewatch from a few of our attendees. So great presentation, Jeff. I don't see any questions coming through right now, so I think that will be a conclusion of the webinar. Thank you to the Generac team for sharing your time and knowledge with us today. Feel free to browse the Generac product lineup at any time via shop.aeesolar.com. Thank you again for doing business with AEE Solar and Generac, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their day.
Awesome. Thank you, Edgar, and thank you all for joining. Bye-bye.
Bye.